Sorry. So, this is some of the SAQ that related to our topic today. Outline of my presentation today will be definition of the Carnot cycle, events in the Carnot cycle, the left ventricular pressure volume loop, and what is the changes that will happen in the left pressure volume loop when we alter the preload, afterload, and contractility. So, as a definition, Carnot cycle, it refers to complete sequence of physiological events that occur in the heart from the beginning of one heartbeat to the beginning of the next. Okay, actually this is a Wiggle diagram. Actually from here we can get a lot of information. Below one here is the phase that occur during the Carnot cycle. There is changes in the pressure of the left ventricle, in the left ventricle pressure and left atrial pressure. Where and when the AV and also semiluna valve will open and close. Translated also to the phenocardiogram to the heart sound. Also the electrical impartation potential that happens between the cycle. We go one by one later. Okay, as for the phases of the Carnot cycle, we divided into diastolic phase and systolic phase. Under the diastolic phase will be isovolumetric relaxation, rapid ventricular filling, slow ventricular filling, atrial contraction. Under the systolic phase will be isovolumetric contraction and also ejection. But when we're talking about the Carnot cycle, we always start at the late phase of the diastolic, and also the ejection part, the contraction part, systolic part in the middle, and also the early diastolic part at the last of the cycle punya the phases. Okay, slow ventricular filling. The first one, the pressure within the atria is slightly higher than intraventricular pressure. The AV valve are therefore open, allowing the blood to flow slowly from the atrium to the ventricle. This is the first part. The next one, after the slow ventricular filling, there will be atrial contraction. The SA node will depolarize, generating the action potential and causing the atria to contract. So atrial blood will be ejected through the AV valve into the ventricle. This is what we call as the atrial kick. At rest, atrial kick only contribute about 10% of the ventricular filling. 90% by the passive ventricular filling. But during the exercise, you have a tachycardia, you have a short diastolic filling. So that's how your atrial kick will come up to 40% of during your Carnot cycle. The atrial contraction can be translated as a wave on the atrial pressure waveform. So the volume you get at the end of the atrial contraction we call as the end diastolic volume. This one, A wave. Yeah. So the next one is isovolumetric contraction. From the name itself, isovolumetric means the volume is not changed during the change in pressure. So what will happen? After that, the action potential will passing through to the AV node, conducted to the ventricle through the His-Purkinje fiber, and can be represented as the ECG by the QRS complex. The ventricular now will contract, causing a rapid rise in the intraventricular pressure. As the intraventricular pressure higher than the atrial pressure, AV valve will close. The first heart sound will be heard as the S1. But in normal people, sometimes the closure of the mitral valve can be slightly earlier than the tricuspid valve. And you have the split S1. So period of timing between the closure of the AV valve and the opening of the semilunar valve, there will be a ventricular pressure rises without changes in the ventricular volume. This is what explanation I had just now. During this time, the increased right ventricular pressure cause the tricuspid valve to bulge into the right atrium, causing the C wave. Maknanya dia contract sangat sampai naik ke atas sampai masuk ke right atrium, it's called the C wave. Here, increase the pressure of the right atrium. The next one is the ejection phase. So what will happen? At this time, the ventricular pressure will be higher than the pressure in the aorta and pulmonary artery. The semilunar valve now, the aortic valve, coronary valve will open and blood is ejected to the ventricle. Contraction of the right ventricular pulls the tricuspid valve downwards. Tadi, masa circulation dia naik atas, sekarang dia pull ke bawah pula. If the length of the right atrium increases, its pressure falls to zero and it rapidly fills with blood, and this is the origin of the existence from the atrial pressure waveform. Initially, the rapid flow of blood through the semilunar valve as the ventricular depolarize, the force of contraction weaker. makin kurang lah. In the course of the ventricular relaxation, the ventricular pressure falls below the aorta and pulmonary artery. The semilunar valve now will will close, resulting in the second heart sound, S2. The aortic valve closure can be translated at the aortic pressure curve as a dichrotic notch, because at the time there is a positive deflection due to the elastic recoil of the aorta and also aortic valve. That one. That's why I juga tunjuk di atas tu. So the volume of blood at the end of within the ventricle following the valve closure is called end systolic volume, ESV. So the next one is isovolumetric relaxation. Following the closure of the semilunar valve, it takes a short time for the ventricle to further relax and their pressure to fall below the atria. Through late systole and isovolumetric relaxation, atrial pressure slowly rises due to the venous return from the lung and vena cava. That's the origin of the V wave. Rapid ventricular filling. Once the atrial pressure exceeds the ventricular pressure, the AV valve opens. The blood flows from the atria to the ventricle. During the early part of the diastole, the ventricles are still undergoing relaxation and the intraventricular pressure continues to decrease, and blood flows rapidly into the ventricle. The fall of pressure in the atria is represented by the Y descent from the graph lah. That one. Because of the filling of the ventricle. So this is the about the cardiac cycle lah. This one. Now I proceed with the PV loop left ventricle. So the PV loop left ventricle actually represent the left ventricular performance throughout the cardiac cycle. In a normal left ventricle, the pressure volume loop is approximately rectangular and can be divided into four phases: the isovolumetric contraction, ventricular ejection, isovolumetric relaxation, and also diastolic ventricular filling. This one. So from this graph, what is important thing is you need to know. So it's a graph, and the x-axis will be a left ventricular volume in milliliter. In the y-axis will be a left ventricular pressure in millimeter mercury. What you need to know is there is a four phases, 3 volume and 3 pressure. The four phases will be the isovolumetric contraction, where there is a increase in pressure, but there is no change in the volume. And also the second part will be ventricular ejection, where the stroke volume will be ejected through the aortic valve to the circulation. And then also the next one will be the isovolumetric relaxation, where there is decrease in the pressure but not in the volume. And the last one will be a diastolic filling, the filling of the ventricle. So this part, the upper part, this one will be the systolic part. This one will be represent the diastolic part. The 3 volume we need to know is the end diastolic volume and systolic volume. The difference will be the stroke volume that will be ejected. And the 3 pressure here will be the left ventricular and diastolic pressure, diastolic BP pressure, and also the systolic blood pressure. These 3. So how does the pressure volume loop change when preload is increased? Okay, preload can be thought as the volume of blood within the ventricle prior to contraction. For the left ventricle, it is the left ventricular and diastolic volume. According to the Starling law, an increase in the preload results in a greater diastolic stretch of the contractile myocardial fiber. The stretch of the sarcomere contract more forcefully, thus increasing the stroke volume. So lagi banyak preload, lagi banyaklah dia akan pump keluar lah, increasing the stroke volume. So this is what we see what will happen. There is increase in the preload, afterload, or change in the contractility. So we go to the first graph at the left side. When there is an increase in the preload, you can see the graph shift to the right a bit. There will be the increase in the left ventricular and diastolic volume. This one. Also, the PV loop graph will be more width. You nampak nampak lebih lebar, width, and also the stroke volume will increase. The left ventricular and systolic volume will slightly increase. Sikit je naik. That one. So, the other thing you need to know is about two lines. One is the end-diastolic pressure volume relationship down here, and also end-systolic pressure volume relationship. The end-diastolic pressure volume relationship is talking about the passive compliance of your left ventricle, and also the end-systolic pressure volume relationship is talking about your contractility of the left ventricle lah. This one. So, this one, as I said just now, the end-diastolic pressure relationship EDPVR reflects the passive compliance of the left ventricle. We're talking about the EDPVR and ESPVR further later in the heart failure patient lah. This one. So the effect at the end, as I said just now, for the preload, when you increase the stroke volume. The second one, if you increase the afterload, what will happen? Okay, what is afterload? Afterload is a stress that develop in the ventricle during the contraction. Also is the force that oppose the contraction of the cardiac sarcomere. So during the increase is afterload, there will be extend and rate of the sarcomere shortening decreases. The sarcomere decreases and ejection of the blood from the left ventricle will reduce. And also at this time, the left ventricular and systolic volume will be slightly increased. But here, addition of the venous return also will increase a bit of the left ventricle and diastolic volume. But at the end, the outcome will be the stroke volume will be slightly reduced lah. Dia akan nampak kurus dan tinggi macam ni. So, the last one is the increase in contractility. You can see here what will happen. The ESPVR will be slightly increased. So indicating it will cause the left ventricular and diastolic volume slightly lower, but the further lowers in the left ventricle and systolic volume. So it will increase the stroke volume here. So I think this is the explanation just now. So what happened during the heart failure? So we classify heart failure, left ventricular heart failure is to systolic, diastolic, and mixed. During the left ventricular systolic failure, there will be reduction in the myocardial contractility as I said just now, reduce the gradient of the ESPVR, and increase in the left ventricular and diastolic volume. The outcome will be reduced volume projected from the left ventricle. And if there is a diastolic failure, the problem will be with the compliance. The EDPVR lines follow a different cause of the compliance. The contractility of the left ventricle, however, remain unchanged. But overall, the stroke volume will still reduce. You can see from here, systolic, because of the graph change, the ESPVR become less steep, so the stroke volume at the end will be reduced. Whereas for the diastolic pressure, the problem with the compliance, so graph dia makin naik, so area under the curve makin kurang, so stroke volume pun makin rendah juga. This one. Then the last one for my today is how does the pressure volume look of the right ventricle compare with that on the left? So what the difference is, the right ventricular graph too will be characteristic of the triangular shape. The pressure developed within the right ventricle is significantly lower than the left ventricle. So the RV must overcome a much lower afterload as the pulmonary vascular resistance and the pulmonary artery pressure also low. Ejection of blood from the right ventricle begins early in the systole. Right ventricular volume starts to fall shortly after right ventricular pressure increase. So kalau tengok kat sini graf dia macam terus je. Diastolic filling terus contraction. Dia tak ada macam ambil masa untuk isomotor contraction ke, dia just continuously because the pressure is low lah compared to the left ventricle. So this is my reference lah from David Campbell.
Okay, alright. So kalau topik hari ni yang paling penting yang you all kena tahu adalah PV loop. Yang tu kena tahu in and out. So kita discuss yang tu. Faiz, thank you, dan boleh lukis ni PV loop. PV loop of left ventricle. Kalau graf yang ni Daniel, apa salah graf ni? Ni ambil kat mana? Canvas. Tapi ada one parameter salah.
So on PV loop.
Tak apa. Fine, okay. Apa dia yang salah Daniel? Siapa tahu? Which one is can be wrong? I don't know. Tapi daripada Chambers lah. Tapi by right, according to other textbook, it's wrong. Apa yang salah? One parameter salah. Yang mana?
Endocytic pressure.
Hmm?
Endocytic pressure tu.
Endocytic pressure. Dia ada level ke endocytic pressure?
Ventricular endocytic pressure.
Betul dah. Dia reflect to endocytic volume. Cuba tengok systolic pressure. Is it correct? And systolic pressure sebenarnya the maximum achievable pressure during the systolic phase. Kalau you tengok, sebab tengok masa phase tu dekat apa? Dekat aortic closure. Kalau you tengok arterial line, itu reflect dichrotic notch pressure. It doesn't reflect the systolic pressure. So sebab tu salah. Somehow this textbook salah. Tapi I tak tahulah sebab I tak pernah pakai Chambers. I never use. So this one yang the striking one yang I nampak salah, this one. Systolic blood pressure. Sebenarnya nama apa pressure tu kat sini? Hmm? Bukan. Dia panggil end systolic pressure. End systolic pressure. Yang betul-betul systolic pressure is the peak one. So kalau end systolic pressure, kalau ikut CICM, antara FRCA, antara syllabus yang kita kena guna lah. Kalau ikut CICM, apa dia formula dia? End systolic pressure. ESP. Siapa tahu? End systolic pressure. So it will never be systolic pressure. Sebab tu salah yang ni. That is end systolic pressure. End systolic pressure kalau ikut CICM, formula dia adalah 0.9 times systolic pressure times peak pressure. So maksudnya end systolic pressure tu always lower. Dia 90% of the value of systolic pressure. So kalau tengok dalam arterial line, yang tu tak boleh lah. Arterial line sebab banyak effect lagi kan. Wingcastle effect lah, apa banyak factor lagi. So yang tu different. Tapi maksudnya by right, kalau kita translate arterial waveform tu ke dalam LV, dichrotic notch tu patutnya 0.9% of the maximum systolic pressure. Macam tu maksudnya. That's how it is. So dalam case ni, graf ni salah. So jangan buat lah. Jangan tiru lah sebab according to most textbook, Peter Kam ke apa memang salah. So it should be systolic pressure is the maximum one. Yang point yang ditunjuk tu adalah end systolic pressure. Yang ni, yang curve paling tinggi tu. That is systolic pressure. That is systolic pressure. Yes. Sebab you tengok kalau our BP kan BP naik kan, naik paling maksimum then turun. Yang mana kita ambil systolic? Yang tinggi kan? Mana ada kita ambil yang sikit bawah? Tak ada. The highest one, the highest achievable pressure is the pressure. So that's what we call systolic pressure in the left ventricle. Kalau yang point yang ditunjuk tu end systolic pressure, which is different. End systolic pressure, dia dah start drop. Okay, so graf ni salah. Okay, baik, continue. So be careful lah dengan textbook. Be careful. Kalau yang standard textbook by right Peter Kam lah. Peter Kam, bukan Levitsky apa dah? Blackwell Publisher lah. Blackwell Publisher yang macam JB West tu kan. Tapi lupa, tapi dia panggil cardiovascular kan. Yang tu dia boleh pakai. Yang tu Peter Kam, Chambers ni by right is a main textbook juga sebenarnya. Tapi somehow, tapi kalau in our panggil apa tu? Our guideline, reference chamber ni duduk bawah lah, nombor 5, nombor 6 tu. Yang atas tu adalah Peter Kam, Linda Costanzo. So kalau the best explanation will be Linda Costanzo. Tapi the best untuk tackle SAQ, Peter Kam. Tu Faik dah fokus advanced interpretation. Yang basic dulu. Complete the basic one. Kalau dalam SAQ macam mana you nak jawab? Untuk dapat full mark.
So during this time, there is a change in the continuum. Pressure from
Okay, tak apa.
then around 0.3 seconds. And then at this point, my tempat will open. So there will be filling of the temperature. You can divide into rapid and slow filling. So generally this is the filling phase of the temperature from 0.3 to 0.6, the temperature filling. So once the temperature filling reach here the microbar will close and then basically rejection will start. However, because the look at so the IoT mark is still closed up. So they still report a subordinate contraction.
Okay.
Once the pressure in the ventricle exceeds the airflow, which is around the back output energy, then the tip valve will open, support the contraction phase of the ventricle. We also can divide the contraction phase into rapid and a slow ejection phase. And then when the pressure in the ventricle falls below the aorta, and the tip valve will be pushed here, and the pressure will start again.
Label, right.
So, level A is where the tip valve close.
Okay.
Yang apa? And D is tip valve open. So the distance between the second and system volume and this is and system volume. So the distance between and system and the system volume we call as a volume.
Mm-hmm. Dah, ada nak improve lagi? Okay. Ada pen merah. Ada lah. So, kalau yang ni, yang Pak Ilu, kalau dalam SAQ, setiap point adalah 0.5 mark. So, satu, ni ya. Ni akan dapat 0.1 je. Sebab tak ada unit. Kena ada. Millimeter mercury. Ada yang ni. 0.1. Ni kena mils. Ijaz. Okay. So 0.1. 0.1. Patut 0.5. Rugi ya. So kena train sekarang. Biar our graph is complete. A, B, C, D tak ada markah. Ikut nak letak A sini, nak letak A sini. Doesn't matter. So yang penting your legends. Kalau tak nak letak legend, you letak sini. Aetic closure. Mitral valve closure. Okay, tu cara dia. So apa yang you nak complete apa tu ni? Graph kan ada arrow. Atau satu lagi apa? Yang tak ada. Title. Kena ada lah PV loop of left ventricle. Baru lengkap. So ni ada markah ni semua. Ni 0.5. Rugi lah bila you tak ada. Tapi yang paling penting apa dia? Yang menyebabkan Faiz akan ada certain examiner yang all examiner akan bagi 0. Apa dia? Salah shape. Yang ni. Yang ni shape dia membenarkan chambers. So now dia kata betul ni systolic pressure. Which is wrong lah. By right, it like this. Dia kena turun. Sebab apa? Ohm's law, change in QR. Certain point tu dia tinggi lah pressure. Lepas tu bila flow dah run away, flow dah turun, pressure akan turun. So by right dia kena turun. Dia kena ada this curve. Kena ada this curve. Okay. So ni adalah yang kena ikut Peter Cam lah. Apa graph kena ikut Peter Cam. So kalau zaman dulu, benda ni daripada 1899 lagi. Dulu graf dia lagi pelik macam tu. Pelik lah. Lepas tu up to 1996 tu dia baru start dapat macam tu. Sampailah a few years later barulah orang faham sebenarnya the basic structure is like this. Tapi in reality memang you tak akan dapat macam ni pun. You akan dapat something like macam wiggle effect. Macam itulah, dia tak tepat sangat. Tapi tak kisahlah. Ni just history. Yang penting teori dia macam ni. Tapi in practical memanglah tak guna pun sebenarnya. Sebab mana boleh kita measure benda ni dalam practical. Tapi untuk exam purpose macam mana you nak make sure you dapat skor tinggi. So apa information yang you kena label? Yang you kena ada. Dua komponen ya. Pressure and volume. Kalau pressure you kena ada berapa? How many pressure you need to have? 3. Apa dia? Systolic pressure kan? Ya. Ya, betul. And diastolic pressure. Kan? Kata apa lagi? And systolic pressure. This one. Kalau volume you kena ada berapa? 4. So 1 and diastolic volume. 2 and systolic volume. Kata apa lagi? Stroke volume. Last. Ejection fraction. Which is EDV minus ESV divided by EDV. So baru you complete. So you boleh cakap lah kat sini. You tengoklah dulu ABCD tu ada tak? P yang tanya pasal ejection fraction. Dia kalau ada tak payahlah. Itu satu. Lepas tu yang kedua tengok. Dia soalan dia apa? Kalau soalan dia discuss. Discuss you have to be detail. Semua kena cover. So ingat, ni dalam CICM ni. You boleh buka D-range physio. Dia dah summarize lah. These are parameters yang dia nak. So you need, bila you lukis graph tu, kena make sure ada labeling semua. Kena ada semua ni. Yang ni tak apalah, ni plus minus. You kena tengok soalan next. Ada tanya ke tak? Kalau soalan next tak tanya, offer. Sebab terutamanya kalau soalan ni adalah discuss. Sebab every single detail akan score point. Ni semua dapat ni. Ni 0.5. Okay, correct. Ni 0.5. Shape. Atau 0.5 lah. Tapi dalam case ni salah lah. Okay. Atau aortic closure. Mitral valve closure 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Nampak tak? Senang je nak dapat markah. Tapi you lah kena offer. Kena offer benda tu. Lepas tu bila soalan tu kena be careful. Tengok soalan tu. Kalau soalan tu tanya, okay, dia pun suruh kita buat contractility line, afterload line. Dia baru kita buat. So kalau afterload line ni dekat mana ni sebenarnya? Dekat mana? Negatif ke? Zero ke? Positif? On the x-axis. Okay, and x-axis panjang ni. Kat mana? Sini. Macam mana you dapat intersection? Zero. Ada juga textbook lukis kat sini. ada tersebut lukis kat 0. Actually kat mana? Actually, it depends on individual. Dia akan mula-mula measuring tu dia akan kira beberapa measurement. So dia akan dapat macam ni lah tadi yang I lukis. Dia dapat 1, 2, 3, 4 dengan ubah parameter. And then dia panggil kalau ikut Peter Kam ke apa dia panggil the succession of PV loop. Daripada sinilah dia akan lukis. Dapat. So tak kisah. Yang penting slope ni. Yang ni tak penting. Ini tak penting. Yang penting slope ni. Slope ni dia akan sama. Sebab apa slope ni dia panggil apa slope ni? Dan you kena label lah. Apa dia panggil? ESPBR. Nama lain apa dia? Kalau Carey Brandeis lah. Dia panggil contractility line kan. ESPBR. So macam mana dia dapat? Through the succession of PV loop. So you lukis banyak. Lepas tu dia pun lukis intersection between end systolic volume. Masa aortic closure. Masa aortic closure tu lah. Okay. Lepas tu after load line. After load line betul ke ni? Pak I lukis ni. Sepatutnya sini. Kenapa macam tu? Why? Ni dia panggil apa? Line. Dia panggil after load line kalau ikut Carey Brandeis lah. Kalau ikut CICN dia panggil arterial elastin line. Doesn't matter you nak label mana pun. Tak kisah. Cuma dalam SBA masalah. Dalam SBA takut kadang-kadang dia pakai term ni. Kadang-kadang dia pakai term ni. So you kena make sure you tahu lah. So baru you tahu macam mana nak jawab SBA. Tapi dalam SAQ doesn't matter. So, up to you lah. Dia nak tulis apa. After load line. Okay. Tak ada masalah. Tapi kenapa sini? Betul lah. Kenapa start sini? Kenapa tak start macam Faiz sini? Why? Apa maksud after load line? Okay. Maksudnya, stroke volume ni, bila dia masuk dalam arterial wall kan, jadi apa? Flow masuk. Pressure kan ada. So, bila masa dekat sini, stroke volume ada kat sini? Tak ada kan? Ni stroke volume. Masa ni tak lagi ni 0. So, bila 0 kan? Lepas tu dia start sini. Faham? Sebab tu tak boleh start sini. Kalau start sini, maksudnya masa flow tak ada pun, dah ada pressure dah. Salah. So by right, bila no flow, bila cease flow, pressure 0. So this is the basic sebab after load line, dia refer to aortic root. Dalam aorta. So macam mana benda tu nak ada pressure kalau stroke volume belum keluar? Flow tu tak ada. So that's why it start from 0. Baru you faham kan? Nak lukis. So after load line macam ni. Kenapa dia macam ni? Sebab dia direct proportional to the stroke volume. Bila stroke volume flow masuk pressure pun makin naik ya. Macam ni. So bila after load change, dia change in terms of the slope lah. EDV tu tak sama. So dia tukar. Kalau after load naik, dia akan naik sini. So nampak tak? Now stroke volume berkurang. Tapi is it true here? Kalau soalan tu, kalau you suruh lukis, kalau dalam SAQ, dia akan suruh fix parameter lain. Ada change after load lain saja kan. Tapi kalau dalam SBA, dia tanya, when after load increase, will this be the same? Will the EDV be the same? Sama ke tak? So dia akan, kalau tak sama, yes or no. Kalau you jawab yes, kiri ke kanan? Kalau dalam Viva lah. Okay. Ada kata kanan, ada kata kiri. Cancel out duduk sini balik. So sebenarnya mana? Kiri ke kanan? Kanan, yes. By right kanan. Dia akan duduk kat sini sikit. Sebab apa? Dalam Peter Kam dia sebut peripheral run off. Sebab bila after load naik, bila you pakai NORAD kan, you start pressure on NORAD. Actually kalau you measure preload tu akan naik sikit. Sebab apa? Sebab peripheral run off. Maksudnya dekat arterial bag tu, semua akan push blood masuk ke dalam venous side. So preload tu akan naik. So sebenarnya dia akan naik. Tapi be careful dengan soalan. You tahu this principle, jangan you over offer pula. So kalau dalam SAQ cakap, if after load dia change, macam mana graf dia? So you kena assume ada parameters tu adalah sama. Termasuk EDB. Barat you tahu prinsipal dia akan naik. Tapi no. Jangan over lah. So dalam SAQ just jawab apa yang ditanya. Tapi kalau dalam Viva you kena be careful lah. Bukan be careful, maksud you kena be prepared. Bila dia tanya gini, you tahu dah, ni mesti lepas ni nak treat aku kat sini. Tentulah. So examiner akan tanya, so okay, you draw like this, correct? Dia bagi full mark. What do you think? Will the EDV be the same? Dia start challenge you. So masa tu dah soalan yang you mungkin dah passing candidate, mungkin nak ke arah distinction. So kalau boleh nak lah kan, biar you boleh score as much as possible. Baru boleh cover table lain. So okay, after load line ni, kalau interpretation lah. Interpretation ni kena ada 3. Okay, interpretation kena ada 3. ESPV, R, after load line. Satu lagi apa? Ni lah basically, yang ni lah. Frank Starling. Okay, dia panggil apa graf ni? Tak adalah, dia just panggil pressure volume relationship kan. So kalau dalam ni dia naik macam ni kan. So sebenarnya maksud dia apa? Apa maksud dia kalau sini slope dia maksud apa slope? Change in volume? Apa change in pressure? Are you sure? Change in pressure. Change in pressure over change in volume. Ni pressure dulu. So bila change in pressure, kalau compliance apa? Change in volume over change in pressure. Tapi dalam graf ni, is change in pressure ni. So it's equivalent to elastance. Apa maksud elastance? Okay, stiffness. Ayat layman apa? Maksud dia resist to feel. Ataupun kalau dalam lung, dia panggil the tendency to recoil to original position. Itulah elastance. So maksudnya dalam heart kita ni, left ventricle ni, bila you isi, dia akan naik pressure sikit. Tapi up to certain point, dia tak boleh dah, dia tak bagi dah. Dia tak boleh nak terima dah that pressure work. So dia akan menyebabkan dekat sini tu dia akan jadi exponential. So any increase volume sikit je, pressure naik in exponential manner. Instead of awal-awal ni linear and then jadi exponential. Okay? Inilah Frank Starling. So Frank Starling dekat sini dia panggil apa? Berapa? Normally satu lagi you kena hafal the numbers 50, 120 kan. So kena ingat ni tadi Pak I dah confuse nak tak 20 ke nak tak 10. Tapi kalau if I'm not mistaken generally banyak textbook 10. Chambers dia letak 20. Kan? Kan tak. Okay. Sebaik dah betul. So usually 10 lah. Usually 10. Tapi doesn't matter, you buat lah senggatan besar sikit 20. So duduk antara dua ni biar examiner fikir nak dekat mana. Maksudnya dia tengok roughly okay lah. Dapat markah lah. So you kena ingat the salient point ni. 50, 120, 10, 120. Baru senang you nak lukis graf. Okay. Mana tadi? Elastance. Okay. So elastance. Elastance tu maksimum berapa yang normal hard lah boleh dalam textbook. Kita come ke entah. Kita come ke mana? Bukan. To microland. Apa volume yang refer to this 2.2? Berapa? Yes. 140. 140. So generally our LV boleh accommodate up to 140. Beyond 140 tu dia dah jadi beyond 2.2 micrometer. Dia dah panggil apa violate Frank Starling mechanism tu. Dia akan menyebabkan kita akan jadi diastolic dysfunction. Okay, alright. So after load line apa lagi yang penting? Lepas tu balik bila you faham konsep ni, you try draw. Okay, ni fix. EDV je berubah. Apa jadi? Kalau you fix, EDV je berubah. EDV berubah kat sini. Duduk sini. So you lukis dulu after load line. Dia akan sama. Ni sama kan? Contractility line. So apa jadi? Dia akan jadi macam tu. ESV bergerak sikit tapi generally stroke volume is higher. Maksudnya shape dia kalau dalam SAQ you nak jawab wider. Becomes wider. Okay. Lepas tu satu contoh EDB. Lepas tu kalau contractility slope lah. Kalau contractility inotrode ada inotrode naik. So bila naik sini kan. So end-state volume akan duduk kat sini. Dia akan duduk kat sini. So end-state volume duduk kat sini maksudnya end-state volume pun berkurang. So maksudnya apa? Widen juga graf dia. So bila contractility line, kalau afterload line dia akan naik duduk kat sini kan. So bila jadi dia akan stop sini, end-state volume akan shorter. Kalau dalam SAQ jawab apa? Dia akan narrower, taller. So you nak describe. So benda-benda macam tu lah you kena pay attention masa you study. Macam mana nak describe. Kalau graph, kalau IHD dia jadi macam mana? Kalau ischemic heart disease. Ya. Jadi macam mana? Reduce contractility. Okay. So jadi macam mana? Siapa dah? Okay, boleh awak lukis. Jadi macam mana? Kalau ischemic heart disease. What do you think? Tak apa. Fikir dulu. Okay. No. Tak sure, up to you. Tak apa, you try dulu. So apa yang reduce? Okay, tak apa. Look, complete your drawing. Yang sebelah lagi cuba buat lukis. Ischemic heart disease. Dua orang offer. Macam mana you lukis? You kena faham ni, topik ni. PV loop ni selalu dalam SBA, dalam Viva, dia suka challenge lah in this topic. Ambil pen kita. Okay, alright. So apa yang you ubah yang tu? Okay, alright. Okay, but macam mana? Okay, alright. So apa yang berubah? Apa yang berubah, apa yang you fix? Okay, betul. Okay, so maksudnya EDV dengan afterload berubah kan? Kalau macam ni? Tak boleh. Kalau macam ni possible tak? Ya. Possible. Kenapa possible? Sebab ni betul. Generally, ischemic heart disease contractility je lah. After load line, EDV semua sama. Tapi yang ni, EDV berubah, after load berubah. Is it possible to have this? Ha? Apa dia? SB? Ni. ESB ada sini. Maksudnya graf dia jadi macam ni. Dia jadi Senggeng macam tu. Is it possible? Why? Why possible? Okay, apa dia? Apa dia? Macam mana? Kenapa possible? Early systolic? Nak betul dah tapi explanation you belum betul. Ni dalam kes apa? IHD. Bukan. Dia ada bulging. So dia akan jadi apa sini? Dia akan jadi systolic apa yang panggil? Lupa dah. Bukan systolic dysfunction. Dia kata dia ada dua fenomena dia. Post systolic shortening. Saya rasa sini lengthening kot, tapi double check lah. Kan betul kan? Mana Peter Kam? Yes. See, ada dua fenomena yang terjadi sini. Sini. Systolic lengthening and post systolic shortening. Itu explanation dia. Sebab apa? Sebab bulging. Dia dah terbuka macam tu. So bila masa systolic, bila systolic kan pressure naik. So yang the ischemic part ni dia bulging. Bila dia bulging tu yang menyebabkan EDV pun naik. EDV naik. Tapi bila post systolic dia dah contract. Dia contract yang ni, yang dah bulging ni dia akan tutup balik macam belong, dia tutup balik. Tu yang dia akan jadi shortening. Dia akan jadi macam mana dah? Dia akan fit balik volume. Tadi volume bila dah contract tinggal sikit kan. Tapi yang belong tadi tutup, dia bagi balik volume. Dia bagi balik keluarkan lagi volume. So tadi macam mana cakap? Macam ni. Ni. Okey, bulging lah. So masa systolic hilang kan. Hilang kan. Lepas tu during end-systolic tu, ni keluar balik. Ni macam balloon lah. Dia keluar lagi. Maksudnya ada movement lagi systolic volume. Ada movement lagi dekat aortic root ni. So dia akan turun lagi. End-systolic volume tu turun. So dia boleh jadi skewed macam ni. Kalau bukan dalam ischemic heart disease, apa fenomena yang boleh jadi? Ni farmako. Possible tak ubat boleh buat jadi macam tu? Is it possible? Yes or no? Salah. Sebenarnya yes lah. Nak challenge you all je. So what drug yang boleh menyebabkan macam ni? Ibuprofen akan jadi super power lah. Volatile. Sebab apa? Dia block kalsium apa dia nama dia? Cuba tengok dalam Peter Kam page 136. First paragraph line 4 to 10. Kan betul kan? 136. Cuba tengok. Dia ada ayat dia. Atrial coupling tu. ATP kalsium 136. Satu edition ya rasanya. Tak ada. Oh ya ke? Oh ya ke? I pakai edition mana? I pakai edition lama kot. Kalau gitu je tengok ni. Bukan memang Peter Kam. Kita tengok yang bahagian graf ni. Betul dah 136 ni. 2015. Third edition Cuba tengok yang graf ni, sama tak? Yang ada gambar ni. Dia jadi page mana dah? Dia berubah page Satu lagi. Page buku 136. Tak, ni buku lain lah ni. Dia ada biru tu, dia 4th edition. Yang ni entah edition berapa.
Maksudnya first edition sign kos itu.
Jadi satu dan dua.
Tapi memang dia pakai yang ni ya. Auto edition. Third edition. Ni 162. 162. Okay lah. Tak ada dah. Kenapa lagi sikit?
That's why.
Mantap.
Tak tahu jawab. Kita tak ada jawab.
Mana graf? Halogenetic. Dia pendekkan. Actually ada explanation. Then pakai third edition lah. Dia altered excitation contraction coupling. Kalsium tu dia altered. Kalsium satu lagi ubat apa lagi? CCB. Contoh apa dia? Verapamil. Yang mana target heart punya calcium channel. L-type calcium channel. Okay. Itulah. So ni saja, ni farmako. So maksudnya bayangkan IHD boleh jadi macam ni. The other thing yang boleh jadi macam ni adalah volatile agent. Our pharmaco drugs. Okay, alright. Apa lagi pasal PB loop? Macam tu je lah. So maksudnya nampak kan nak draw macam mana? So draw ingat tu. Leveling, number, yang penting, tajuk, shape. Terus dapat full mark. So apa point you nak kena ni? Yang ni yang you kena hafal ni. Pressure apa benda yang maklumat you kena offer. Volume apa benda yang you kena offer. Interpretation apa benda yang you kena offer. Okay. So bila you ada semua ni, that's it lah. Memang lengkap. Soalan-soalan yang PB loop ni selalunya 10 markah. So kalau you cover everything, paling kurang 8 lah. Markah. Rugi je. Okay, alright. Faham? Apa lagi yang tak ada dah kot? Yang penting pasal ni. EDV. Tak. Kalau dalam SAQ, bila dia cakap after load increase kan, you should assume parameters lain tu fix. You should assume parameters lain fix. Sebab dia nak test your knowledge. Tapi in reality of course lah, dia akan berubah. Sebab apa? Peripheral run off. Selalunya dalam Viva lah dia akan challenge macam tu. So dia suruh you lukis dulu. Okay, draw PB loop in patient with a higher afterload. Then you lukis. Pak, settle. Okay, you got it right. So what do you think about EDB? Will it be the same? Dia akan challenge you. Tapi masa tu you dah passing candidate. Cuma dia nak ke arah nak dapatkan 6, 7, 8 markah. Passing candidate 5. So dia nak push markah you terharap ke arah 6, 7, 8 tu. Dia start challenge you. Soalan-soalan pelik-pelik macam tu. Contoh macam LASIK. Dia tanya dose, benda-benda simple step. You dah passing candidate. Dia start tanya, what is the dose for autotoxicity? Yang tu saya pernah dapat lah masa my Viva.
Yang A tu,
A? Mana A? This one. Okay. Bukan. In theory betul lah. Sebab dia nak suruh you all faham. Kan saya cakap lah, bila you lukis, you must assume ada parameters are fixed. Tak payah, you lukis fix je. Maksudnya you kena assume everything fixed. Maksudnya, you lukis ni, EDV must be same, contractility must be same, ESPVR must be same. Just afterload line je naik. Sebab dia nak suruh you boleh offer knowledge, offer information yang shape dia akan jadi taller and thinner. Itu je. Tapi in reality, you tahu dia akan ke sini sikit. Sebab peripheral run off. Tapi dalam exam dia tak akanlah tanya sampai complicated. Macam tu, dia akan confuse student. Dia tak nak, dia akan ajar satu parameter. Tu dalam SAQ. Tapi dalam SBA dengan Viva dia mungkin boleh. Dia boleh altered. So sebab ni single best answer. Bila single best answer dia kata EDV sama, EDV menaik, macam itulah. You kena be careful. So you pilih yang mana the best. Mungkin ABC tu betul. Tapi yang paling the best yang tu. So yang tu you kena be careful lah. Selalunya yang boleh challenge ni dalam Viva lah. SBA kadang-kadang. SAQ memang straightforward. Maksudnya, dia tak akanlah, oh budak ni tak lukis, gerak sini sikit. Kosong lah. Tak ada. Mana? Dia nak assess you one. Dia dapat ni ya. Examiner tu bukan strict sangat pun. Dia tengok you dapat shape macam tu. Cukup lah. Taller, thinner. Lepas tu dia tengok parameter. Okey, betul. 0.5. Tapi kalau examiner yang lama-lama lah, shape pun salah dah. Dia tak nak tengok dah benda lain. Dia terus bagi 0. Dia tak nak dah offer markah kat you. So, sebab dia prinsip dia, kalau orang old examiner, I rasa pun betul juga. Old examiner dia shape tu kena dapat betul. Baru you faham konsep. Kalau setakat labeling betul, shape kosong. Kalau gitu baik you lukis label je, shape tak payah lukis. Itulah konsep dia. Start tulis nama tu, tulis shape terus. Tulis shape lah. Tulis label je. Tak apalah, dapat 7 markah dah. So tak boleh lah. So kena be careful. Bukan setakat old examiner. Kebanyakan examiner dia akan penalize. Dia akan punish you for not getting the right shape. So tak boleh lah. Sebab tu kena make sure dapat. Contoh fine tune dia macam ni. Ni rugi ni. Dia boleh punish you ni. Sebab it shouldn't be that way. Sebab Ohm's law mengatakan dia. Peter Chambers pun mengatakan betul juga. Tapi Faiz mengiyakan juga dia. Cuba be careful ni ESB. Macam saya cakap tadi, N systolic volume. Formula dia adalah 0.9 times systolic pressure, bukan volume, pressure. Okay. So maksudnya, kalau systolic pressure ni dapat 150. You kali 0.9. Dapatlah 135 kot. Kan? 125. 3 Oh 3. Okay. 135. Nampak? Beza sikit je antara systolic volume dengan systolic pressure dengan systolic pressure. Tapi whatever it is, systolic pressure is the highest. Bukan yang kat ujung tu. Kat ujung ni aortic closure. Kalau arterial waveform kan macam tu. Kan? That is diachrotic notch. Adakah kita ambil systolic blood pressure sini? Tak ada. Kita ambil kat sini. Sini dengan ni. TBP, SBP. Orang kita ambil sini. So, salah lah kalau ambil kat sini. That is not systolic blood pressure. That is end-systolic pressure. Okay. Faham? Yang tadi. Cuba buka graf RV. Kenapa dia macam ni? Kenapa isovolumetric contraction dia berubah volume? Kenapa isovolumetric relaxation dia berubah volume? Maksudnya dia tak ada isovolumetric. Tak ada isovolumetric kan? Kenapa tak ada? Okay, tapi kalau ikut Peter Kam, malah kata page berapa? Sebab edition berbeza. I rasa macam kena baca third edition je. Sayang sebab banyak explanation dia buang. Shorter. Patut topik tu lagi panjang. Dia cakap sebab contraction of RV ni asynchrony. Dia tak, electrical and mechanical activity is not as synchrony as LV. So ada contraction kejap, relax kejap, contraction kejap macam tu lah. It is not a one event. Even LV pun macam saya cakap tadi this is the original graph. Dia macam ni. Berterabur. Masa 1990 lebih tu semua orang tak faham. Semua orang macam dapat macam ni Sampailah berapa few years back baru apa macam sebenarnya simplified dia macam ni. Tapi in reality you tak akan dapat macam ni pun. You akan dapat macam ni. So even RV ni pun disebabkan oleh dalam reality dalam tu is more than that yang terjadi. So ayat dia dalam Peter Kam adalah asynchrony. The contraction electrical and mechanical activity is asynchrony. Tapi otherwise yang penting yang konsep you kena dapat betul adalah pressure dia, volume dia. Okay? Kalau pressure dia berapa? Pressure dia lower kan? Sebab our MPAP lah, mean pulmonary artery pressure. So dia reflect that. Dia 25-15 kan? 25-15 ataupun 25-10. Lepas tu MPAP will be 15 atau 20 kan? So basically shape dia akan jadi triangular lah. Macam ni lah. Okay, ya, betul. So RV setter, LV setter. Ya, cuba tunjuk graf ni. Graf cardiac cycle yang combine semua. Yang combine semua ni you kena faham. Selalunya SBA lah masuk. Ya ni, yes. Ni you faham tak kenapa? Ni ventricular volume kan. Pak naik, pak dia jadi macam rainbow gitu. Ni apa benda ni? Apa benda ni? What is this?
Ya,
Bulging.
atrial kick.
Apa dia?
Atrial kick.
Atrial kick.
Last volume.
Ya, inilah diastolic feeling phase tu. Kan ada kan? Fast feeling, apa dah? Rapid feeling phase. Lepas tu atrial kick. Macam tadi tu. Tadi. Yang merah tadi. Yang first slide tadi. Tu. Slow ventricular feeling. Bukan? Yang next slide. This one. Okay, next slide. Now next slide. Nampak tak? Mula-mula dekat sini rapid ventricular feeling dan slow ventricular feeling. Ni rapid kan? Lepas tu di sini dia dah start slow. Lepas tu tiba pak dia naik balik. Sebab atrial kick Atrial kick contribute how much? 20%. Berapa persen? I dah lupa dah. Okay, 10 Okay lah. Tapi kalau dalam mitral stenosis dia akan jadi 60%. Sebab tu dalam mitral stenosis, bila you induce case mitral stenosis, you kena retain sinus rhythm. You kena maintain sinus rhythm. Kalau hilang sinus rhythm, that's it. 60% loss. Reload. Imaging. Significant. MI assist tu lah patient. So, nampak ni? Atrial kick. Lepas tu bila atrial kick, sini nampak tak flat? Kenapa flat? Isovolumetric relaxation. Dia relax. Dia relax tapi volume tak increase lah. Okay. Isovolumetric relaxation pula. Isovolumetric contraction. Dia mitral valve dah tutup tapi aortic valve belum buka lagi. So, dia flat lah volume. Walaupun pressure naik lah. Pressure dah start naik. Tapi volume tetap sama. Nampak? So, bila kalau contohlah dalam soalan Viva ataupun soalan SAQ dia suruh lukis volume versus time sahaja. Jadi kena tahulah nak lukis macam mana. Nampak ni? Ni rapid diastolic feeling. Nampak? Lepas tu slow atrial kick. Ni you boleh tengok semua ni. Explanation. Okay, faham? Ya. Nampak ni? Aortic valve tutup. Tapi pressure naik, volume sama. That's why isovolumetric contraction. Okay, faham? Okay, alright. Pergilah kot. Pukul apa ni? 9 minit. Okay, thank you.
Dia